Hi everybody and welcome to this week's video. Today, as you can see, I am adding colour using Inktense pencils by Derwent into a page out of my first colouring book called Colouring to Ease the Mind, Book 1. These books are available on Amazon. If you go and search in the search bar on Amazon, Colouring to Ease the Mind, my books should turn up, fingers crossed. So anyway, I have just flipped to a random page and it is a lovely paradise palm tree island with a sunset that I'm adding. Well, I've not added it yet, I've just given something away there. So we have a palm tree on a little sandy island with a sandy beach and the ocean. Now in this design, I've added some really strong waves in black, but that doesn't mean that that's the end of the design, because I've left it for you to expand upon, as you'll see as this video progresses. What I like to do with the Inktense pencils, because they are a soft core pencil, most watercolour pencils will be much softer to use than even Prismacolor, what are they called? Prismacolor Premier colouring pencils. They will work in here, but I much prefer Inktense because you don't have to add water, but they're still soft. Now you can obviously use regular pens, colouring pens, whatever you like. But for me, the soft watercolour pencils, particularly Inktense, because as I say, they're permanent once dry. They're ink in a pencil, basically, without soaking the paper too much. Sometimes these watercolour pens or whatever, they can damage the paper because they're too wet and the paper is thin. You have to bear that in mind. I have no control over the thickness of paper with these colouring books. With that said, it's still very good quality. It's still a bit like a printer paper, but I find it's a little bit thicker as such. You can still, add in quite a few art supplies. But again, watercolour, and gouache and acrylic are not really recommended for colouring books anyway. They tend to be dry media. But as I've shown you, you can get away with doing the Inktense. You will be left with some texture from the pencils, but I like that. What I found useful is to colour in circular motions. So I've done that on the palm tree. I added 3 different colours, a light green, a dark green and a yellow. And I did circular motions on the palm leaves itself. And it helps when you add water to get a smoother blend. You won't have such a scribble effect. Now when it comes to the ocean, as you'll see in a minute, as well as the sky, I did the scribble technique, which will leave marks when you add the water. I also do not recommend expensive colouring pencils like Luminance, simply because these pencils need a more kind of textured, better quality paper. It's not for basically expensive products. That's why I've kind of done this book, because it isn't meant for you to get really expensive art supplies for the colouring book. I have Inktense and that's what I recommend because they're easier for me to use. But regular water-based pens will work as long as you don't really scrub and tear the paper up. And if you have more hand strength than I do, then your regular cheapo colouring pencils will also work. But for me, I use Inktense because I don't have a lot of hand strength for really getting down the colour. And colouring pencils in general tend to need more pressure, and I can't do that. So the Inktense being soft requires far less pressure. And I love how vibrant they are. And now for the ocean. Again, I'm using 2 to 3 types of blues. Well, not really blues, but basically 3 to 4 pencils. So I'm using greens and I'm using blues. And I'm alternating between light, dark, and all the rest of that. Using a peacock blue, not a navy, it's a dark, well, it's dark indigo, that's the word, it's indigo. So the peacock, the indigo, and then the sea green, and then a light green. And I'm blending on some of them. Some I scribble and some I'm doing the circular motions for. And now you can see I'm extending the drawing. This gives you the opportunity to add what you like. You could add another beach if you wanted to, or some grass or whatever, but I've extended the ocean so that it's a calmer part. No waves are on this part, but I could add the waves if I wanted to, just to make it look even more different. And then black waves on the top to carry on the design so that it looks similar, but I didn't want to do that. So I've got it looking really like choppy waters before you get to the island, and then before the choppiness is all calm. I chose orange for the cute starfish on the beach. If you have trouble reaching a certain area, don't be afraid to actually turn, rotate the book so that you can reach easier. And now it comes to the sky. I've chosen some lovely sunset colours. You'll be seeing me use magenta, some blue, orange and yellow. And now I'm adding water to the design, and it makes it look completely different. You will be left with some marks because I don't want to scrub at the paper. It is not watercolour paper, you must remember that. And so you'll only get a little effect of the Inktense, but you'll get more of effect with Inktense than with other watercolour pencils. And just look how vibrant it makes it. Don't be scared about putting the water on. You've got to put quite a lot on to have it activate. But just don't scrub. And once it dries, the paper will go back to normal. I'll be including a picture at the end of the completely dried design. So this is what it looks like when it's wet. I'm actually really pleased, considering it's not artist grade paper. It's your basic, real, standard colouring paper style, thin paper. The water did work with the Inktense pencils. That's why I recommend Inktense pencils. It will still leave the marks, and when it's wet, you will still be able to see the picture at the back. But when it is dry, it will be better. You have to be patient to let it dry. But I'm really pleased how this has come out, guys. And I hope you're going to have fun easing your mind with my colouring books. Check them out on Amazon. The link will be in the description below this video. And now it's completely dry. Can you see that the colouring page underneath doesn't show anymore? There's no black picture coming through the back of it. It's completely dry. And back to being regular thick paper again. Forgot to tell you guys that this is the back of the page we've just added water to. It leaked onto here. So always put a glossy book or some kitchen paper or some thick sheets of printer paper like under here before you then add your water, if you don't want other pages to get damp. Doesn't matter, they will dry. But as I say, just to protect the other pages from getting too wet, and then it will help this to dry quicker. Obviously remove the paper from behind here once it's finished, because you need it to dry evenly. So if you've watched this far, thank you so much, and don't forget to give me the thumbs up, comment and subscribe if you haven't already. Subscribing is free to my channel. It's completely free. It's like a follow button that you have on Instagram or Twitter. And it helps YouTube to promote my video to more people. Thank you so much, and I'll catch you really soon, guys.